Lost in Space was fun as fuck, and I don't give much higher praise than that. If you're familiar with Lost in Space, then you should probably be familiar with its setup. A family is lost in space. It was first a TV show in 1965 that followed the adventures of a pioneering family of space colonists who struggled to survive in a strange and often hostile universe after their ship is sabotaged and thrown off course. Then there was a movie in 1998 that everyone hated, I guess. I was a little kid when it came out and I liked it. And now there's a reboot by Netflix. Now, while some may disagree, I think Netflix greatly improved on what the other two did, and spent a fuck ton more on it. But in improving or rebooting it, they made some changes in order to fit the modern audiences. I know I did a lot of quotations, but they made a lot of assumptions. So to fit in with us normal, dysfunctional humans that don't live in a cookie-cutter family where everyone is super wholesome and definitely doesn't have a sister that's a total fucking bitch, it instead has a family they felt audiences could relate to. A married couple that is basically separated at the beginning of the series, a child from outside the marriage, and a super smart woman that they keep saying lacks empathy, but I don't see it, so now I'm worried if maybe I have some issues. They also gender swapped Dr. Smith for a new dynamic. The female being the creeper, always trying to manipulate the kid, is an interesting change, but honestly, it feels exactly the same. A person hanging around a kid that makes you feel really uncomfortable. So let's talk about the good of the show and then some of the bad in the show, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to invest some time watching it, or just go watch it. You don't need anyone to tell you what to do. The format is pretty standard for television nowadays. You start with the action-packed event to get you hooked, and throughout the episodes, we get flashbacks to their life beforehand and how things got to the point we started at. I'm not always a fan of flashbacks, but this series did a nice job incorporating them into the main story. I'd say the visuals are super impressive, especially for a Netflix show, and I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but from the things I've seen on Netflix, these visuals were incredible. But I want you to keep in mind that this is a family drama, so while there are incredible visuals and lots of adventure, there's also a lot of unnecessary drama. Characters do stupid shit that normal people wouldn't do, and make more problems. You can't really avoid these type of things with shows like this, though. So you gotta grit your teeth through some of the stupider dialogue and actions. I also want to warn you that one thing after another does happen in the show, but again, family drama adventures set in space, so I don't know. A lot of times the danger seems awfully convenient, but that's space travel for you. And it would be kind of a boring show if, you know, only dangerous things happened every other day or once a week. I'd say some of the characters are shallow. It is very easy to see what character is fulfilling what role in the show, and they don't really deviate from the already existing tropes that we see in everyday television series, even though they're going for the modern, relatable family. Which is a bit disappointing, but maybe in season 2 we can make certain characters less two-dimensional or generic, like the rogue guy being roguey, but has the heart of gold. We've seen that. Can we expand on that? Also, sometimes they caption what a character is saying when they make a certain physical gesture, and it is hilarious. You can't convince me they didn't do that on purpose to be funny. And I feel like if more shows did this, it would be less confusing to certain people that don't understand certain physical cues. Surprisingly, despite having 3 kids as part of the main cast, they aren't bad. Their acting is great, and the youngest absolutely nailed it. Who knew the youngest child would be the best actor? Though, in fairness, the oldest child that's supposed to be 18 in the TV series is actually in her 20s in real life, so she's not really a child. Which, unfortunately, she does play the typical bratty child, which gets annoying, but she has enough redeeming qualities where it's tolerable for now. However, I can see in the future, if this show gets more seasons, her being the mouthy brat personality could get to be too much, and if it causes them to constantly get into danger, it just would be really, really bad. So they're walking a fine line with her character as of right now. Also, and I'm sorry if you're a middle child, but surprise, surprise, it's the middle child that is the most annoying. However, she also hasn't gotten to the point where she's completely unbearable. She's like right in the middle of tolerable, and I hope you get crushed in a landslide during your adventures. But on the flip side, I don't know how much of her character is representing that typical really fucking annoying teenager, so maybe that's just on purpose. Oh, and bonus, the eldest gives us further proof that in space, high pants are just plain sexy. Now I want to know who you think wore it better. Also, frumpy mom look complete with fanny pack hasn't gone out of fashion in 2046, so that's good to know. And also terrifying to know. Lastly, something that annoyed me a bit, the companies that sponsored this show are super obvious. You spent your precious personal weight allowance on Oreos. Seriously, those fucking Oreos got more screen time than certain characters. That's fucked. Well, I mean, if you replace that with a certain brand of wine, I guess I can relate. So I'd say give this show a chance. It has 10 episodes and I pretty much loved every single one of them. But I also love dramas in space, so I'm a bit biased. Again, it may bore you or seem overly dramatic, but personally I'm crossing my fingers for another season, and I give this show a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, please like, subscribe, and remember to tell me who wore it better.